All right, now we want to totally shift gears. Any Charlotte FC fans out there? Look, I know folks can't hear me, Carlene. I'm just saying that so when they are at home at work, they can raise their hands.
Yeah.
I said any
They're
Charlotte
talking
FC
back to
fans.
you.
Yeah, they're talking back to me. You guys got it. At Charlotte FC, big match tomorrow. NYCFC. Get hype. You can get hype, Carlene. Because Gamecocks are not doing anything. Gamecocks are not doing anything.
Hey,
so you got to get hype.
Let's not talk about it.
So look, and shout out to Jeb for this because we've been featuring hosts, broadcasters coming in to really get down in the weeds and break down what we need to know as Charlotte FC fans. And we got a good one today. David Gass, well-known voice of the MLS, podcaster, host, broadcaster. He is just relieved that he doesn't have to set this whole thing up.
You're doing the work. I'm just hanging out.
He's the guest. Thanks for stopping by, man.
Thank you for having me. I don't know that I get to come into a studio very often.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
This is a nice setup here.
No, it's unbelievable.
That means you have to contribute.
Yeah. I'm here. I'll come for MLS Cup.
Okay.
When they
Perfect.
make it.
Do we have Jeb here as well to contribute? All right. Matches tomorrow, NYCFC. You know what, Jeb? Start us out. Because I am, because of you, more of a soccer fan. Start us out.
We got
Jeb.
Nick Sturdivant. And if you guys tune in on Friday nights, we often have Nick Sturdivant and I breaking down the game. We're so happy to have you here, David. I mean, we've been doing this all season. I listen to David's podcast quite regularly. Most of the knowledge you guys hear me spewing is stuff that I've just ripped out from David and Tom. So you're getting it directly from the source.
At least
I'm
you're
giving you credit.
I'm exposing.
I was going to, okay.
I'll expose like this.
Well, now I'm going to be doubling down. Though. I'm going to keep repeating
But our
it.
takes sound exactly the same. This is why.
Yeah.
But no, Dave, the question I wanted to bring you, so if you guys don't know, I mean, this is a man who's really responsible for growing the league. MLS has grown so much even since I've been a fan, so to be able to talk to you, someone's given the league a voice and a platform is awesome. I wanted to know, how did you choose to come to Charlotte for this match? Obviously, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'll just spoil it for you. The Bank of America atmosphere tomorrow will be one of the best you've ever seen. I'm talking better than something you've seen in Atlanta or what's going on in Los Angeles right now. It's going to be amazing. But why are you guys here?
I think for us, we love covering this league, but an elimination game is something else. And I think these two teams have shown that they're neck and neck. One goal across 2 games, a PK shootout. Like, there's not much to decide. And there are a lot of complaints about the structure of the MLS playoffs. As you know, the first round is 3 games, then it goes single elimination. But now we're into single elimination, right? The third game is an elimination game.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the 2 teams where there's not a reason to decide who's going to win or who's going to lose in advance, that's the type of game you want to be at. Plus, I live in Miami right now. The change of the colors, the leaves, all that. You guys got a lot of vibes going right now.
Yep.
So all of it is good, but I've been to one Charlotte FC game. It was the first ever game, 70,000 in the building. So I've seen that atmosphere, and I'm excited to see how the fans have developed and grown over time. From afar, we've seen it. It's a soccer city now. It's a soccer market.
Absolutely.
Fans are super knowledgeable. They're one of the big ones that engage with us online and constantly have questions. And so I think it's one of the ones where you look at now, what is the future of Major League Soccer? And 10 years ago, we thought, there are only soccer cities. And you have to find the soccer city and put the team there. And now if you put good teams there, it turns out every city is a soccer city if you do it right.
Yeah, coming from the Carolinas, it was intramural soccer, high school soccer. It wasn't really a thing here.
Yeah.
Charlotte FC comes and it just explodes.
Yeah.
With that being said, is there a such thing as home field advantage in this series?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It feels weird because it hasn't played out that way.
Right.
Right.
MLS is one of the most home-heavy leagues on the planet. So because of travel, because of the way the fields are so different, because of the way the stadiums are set up and the experience, it is one of the most home-heavy leagues in the world. This series is a little bit odd, and I think that goes down to just how close it is. And if the games are that close, you're talking about thin margins, and they've gone the other way both times. But, I sat with Christian Kalina earlier today, and he's like, they beat us here, which is crazy. Like, he's still shocked that they lost at home because they walk in, they feel like it's a fortress. I think the atmosphere is going to be even better on Friday night than it was, unfortunately, for a Tuesday early game at the first round that got thrown around. Yeah, I think it's going to be 10,000 more fans, which gives you that little bit extra edge. But Charlotte are a home dominant team, and a lot of that is because they like to play on the small margins, and so that extra 2 or 3% is often enough for them to get wins.
Do you still feel that confidence from Kalina,
Yeah.
knowing that they lost?
100%, because he finished the last game. He won the PK shootout, celebrated at the fans' face, and that was obviously my first question for him. And he was like, "Yeah, I don't know why they thought the series was over." Like, he was offended that they came out. I'm like, "Well, they won the first game. That's why they thought the series was over." And he was like offended that they would even assume that. So yeah, you still felt the confidence from him. I think, you go into sports, you go into big games like this, there can be a few ways. Some is, okay, we think we have a shot. And then there are teams where they know if they do their job, they will win. And that's how Charlotte FC feels, and that's the right way to feel.
Right, Jeff.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great way to point it. I'll be honest, as a fan, I didn't feel totally confident going in to New York City.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a bad place to play.
You mentioned that too, right?
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
talk about it until I'm blue in the face because I hate watching that
Yeah.
field on TV. I'm
So
like,
do
it doesn't
I.
look like a soccer field. Like, it looks like it was just plaster. And I understand why they can't play where the Red Bulls play. But it's like, this does not feel like a soccer field. And we're a team that's so good on the wings. Like, our two best attacking players.
Need
with
the
FBL gone.
space.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think getting Zaha back, I think to your point, it's going to be an awesome game. What are you looking out for from Charlotte FC? It's going to be a much different looking team with Zaha back than the first match.
Yeah, I think for this Charlotte team, I want to see them on the front foot a little more, higher up the field. The two biggest chances that came in the second game on the road came with Toffolo overlapping, and now you're getting a player coming up from a fullback position. I think you should be able to create more chances more consistently with the front three, front four, front five. A lot of that is down to 1v1 ability, but I think a lot of that's down to like quickness of play and connection. And I know the team talked about that coming out of the last game, is like we weren't playing that pass quick enough, and so they were allowing NYCFC to come back into the play. I think that's where Toklamati shines, and if you can play it quick enough around him, then he can start to link up and create connections. I thought it was a little too obvious what was coming in the second leg, and I think the energy of the building will then add, okay, now it's a little more frenetic and a little more intense. I think that could open up this game a ton, and I think that could be the difference.
I think it's a good point. I do want to ask you, you mentioned it yourself, this has been a very, very cagey series. Obviously, one goal across 2 games. That goal, in my opinion, shouldn't have been conceded. Whether it was a moment of tragedy or brilliance, depends on what color blue you were wearing last Tuesday. But do you think Dean Smith and fans should be concerned by the lack of goals? Obviously, Brant Bronico, a much different player than Pep Biel. Do you think he wants to make a switch, maybe starting the young Archie Goodwin to try to get something going? Like, what do you see? No Jan Toklamati goals yet?
Yeah.
How are you reading that situation right
I think I've really enjoyed watching Goodwin, and I think he has a bright future. I think it would be a lot to try and start him, especially alongside Toklamati. Now it's 2 young guys in their first playoff series, but the idea there would be like, can you just pound balls into the box and get knockdowns? But you can get runners in Westwood and Bronico that could do that as well. And I think that's your plan B as the game goes along. Maybe you go to it quicker if it's the 60th minute and you haven't scored that goal. But the feeling I got from Kalina, which I think is right, is like, they're not far off, and the odds are that they're going to break through. And he said, I don't know if it's an own goal or a set piece or a penalty kick or what, but like, we're going to score in this game. There's no way they get shut out across 3 games. So I think your belief should be, and this is what they showed this season. They started the year poorly, then they go on the winning streak. They really didn't change too much.
Right.
So the idea is, if we come back to the averages, we should be good enough to score goals and create chances. And Zaha missing the game was huge in the first game, and then he's 2 weeks off. Like, was he at his best self, and is that field set up for him at his best? Maybe not. So now is his first chance to play at home, post the red card, and sort of like be in front of this crowd.
I hate to be that guy, and I don't want to like jinx our chances, but like I can't help but to think about like what's next.
Yeah.
That's Philly.
Yep.
Like, it's a tricky one. This is not really a question, but it's like a tricky match.
Yes.
Because, like, all right, you have a tough match here in Charlotte, but then you got to think about what's on the other side of that.
The nice thing, and this is not the right word to use, is there's an international break in between, and so the games will be 2 weeks apart.
Yeah.
So from a team point of view, they're gonna work on tape in between. So like, it's not one of those where it's like, well, we have to send a coach in advance and they're thinking about this team. They really are in a setup where it's like, okay, once we get there, then we could figure it out. Philly's a weird matchup because they played on the final game of the regular season, but Philly had nothing to play for.
Yeah.
And so I think Charlotte has confidence because of that win, but is that win really indicative to who they are? And the other part that's odd is neither of these teams are high possession teams. And so when you often get in a playoff series like that, it's like no one wants the ball. So who's going to force the other team to take it rather than who can come in and dominate the game?
Yeah.
Philly being at home, they have some level of responsibility there, but also that's not who they are, and they've kind of stuck to their guns pretty well. I say that in saying I think it's probably the better side of the bracket to be on if you are Charlotte, and I think it makes an opportunity where if you're a Charlotte fan, after Friday night, you're watching Saturday, because if there's an upset on Saturday, you could be looking at Eastern Conference Finals at Bank of America Stadium.
Man,
Pretty sweet.
Last time we had like a conference final, Panthers. Man, I'm just saying, Jeff, just saying, dude.
This guy would know. It was the last time he had a happiness as a fan.
I am
Jake Delhomme playing quarterback for
Cam Newton,
Cam Newton,
2015 season, 2016.
I was going back to the original.
That's kind of what
yeah.
No, the good times. I mean, good times, Jake Delhomme, but the great times,
Yeah.
Cam Newton days.
Yeah, well, he could play in goal.
Honestly,
Yeah,
He could play center back.
I think if you asked him, he'd be like, I probably could.
Yeah, he probably would.
I mean, he
believe
looks
that.
like it. I mean,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff. You got it.
No, so just really quickly, as we focus on this game, it's so awesome. You talk about the fans. You've seen, I believe, probably every fan base.
Yes.
What, and I would love to like circle back to you on this question as well, but you saw the first, and you've been around. What do you see when you look at the fan base in Charlotte? The way the club has developed, the way the fans have developed around the club. You see the supporter section on TV.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you as someone who has been around the league, has watched it grow, has been a part of that growth? You look at a team like Charlotte. I really want to know, what are you feeling when you see something like that?
I would say one of the interesting things about the way Charlotte's set up is there is not a history of teams succeeding playing in NFL stadiums.
Yeah.
And there's this feeling for a lot of
That
there's
hurts.
this feeling, I think, with MLS where it's like what has to be presented to people has to be the best product humanly possible because everyone already is saying no, and you're trying to get someone to say yes.
Yeah.
Seattle's the one where it succeeded, but the history of soccer in Seattle is really high, and it's been there
Yeah.
forever. So I think I came to that first game, and you're like, this is great. It's a tentpole event. People are excited. What does it look like, though, in 12 months, in 18 months? And I think what Charlotte's done is unprecedented. To be able to maintain that level of interest
Yeah.
and success and to have now created its own culture. And I think for me, not being from the city, I came out of that first game and now I'm eating Latin street food across the street. And you're
Yep.
like, I didn't know all these communities were here.
Yeah.
And I think the way the Charlotte FC fans have created their own style is really, really cool because it's a lot of people who would say they're American
Yeah.
and football fans and basketball fans that have learned all these other styles, but it's not one.
Yes.
Where some markets, it's like, there's a German background community here, so we're German style fans.
Like
There's a
Cincinnati,
British,
yeah.
British background style fans, or South American, we're only South American. I think what Charlotte's created is a real melting pot, I guess is the best term, of
Yeah.
supporters.
Yeah.
And that's really, really cool to see because I think if you talked to someone 10 years ago, no one would have thought this was possible.
At
that it was
all.
in this city, in this setup, in this stadium, with these types of fans and a unique culture to its own that exists, we didn't know was possible. And now it's sort of a template for other teams as they try and take it over.
And just to add to that real quick, and this just to add a little bit more context, this is coming off of the Hornets leaving.
Yeah.
10 years prior to that, and folks were bitter. And then it was a weird time here when it comes to professional teams, and we're still trying to reconcile the Panthers, who they are. So
But one of the beauties of it, and I'm sure you guys have talked about this, is because MLS doesn't have deep roots as a city that's transient, right? People are new.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Very
that's
often
fair.
people find that. I found that in Atlanta. A lot of people are fans of other sports teams that come to Atlanta, but they'll root for Atlanta United because they don't have a background team.
Right.
And if the event's fun and people like it and the team's successful, that can become like a lifetime fandom. And so the amount of MLS fans I meet who are diehard of the team of the city they live in, but not fans of the other teams, would like shock you. It's probably a massive percentage over anything else where no one goes to these cities and says, oh, yeah, I'm just going to be a Chicago's Cubs fan. It's like, no, you're ingrained something
Right,
else.
Right.
Yeah, you're not picking that one up. Yeah.
And just really quickly, because we're just about running out of time here, this conversation over, you're going to have another conversation tonight at Sycamore. Tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, we're going to have a live event at at Sycamore Brewing. We're starting around 7. We're going to have some drive-by guests of the front office nature and some of the big names around Charlotte FC. And then me and my co-host, Tom Bogert, and some locals are going to be hanging out talking. So we're going to preview the game. We're going to talk about the playoffs. We're going to talk about the season that's been and what we're seeing. Tom is the foremost expert. He's our Adam Schefter. He's our Woj, whatever you want to call it, about what the offseason could look like and should look like, some of the other big news around the league. But just hang out and talk about this. I know how I feel, which is when my team's in a spot like this, I want to live in it. I want to be around it 24 hours a day. The playoff game is tomorrow night, so if you want to be around that a little bit more, if you want to just come talk soccer or be around people who care about this too, we'll be there, and we'll be hanging out from 7 o'clock all the way on.
And Jeb has some food recommendations for you. So,
okay.
He got you. You're looking like you're confused right now. I think you got some food recommendations.
Listen, across the street, Trolley Barn, easy, quick, it's phenomenal. And Sycamore Brewing, they have great food.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah, that's a good place. You're going to be posting up there, chatting soccer. It's not a bad place to get a bite and a drink.
I didn't know if that was a confused look, Jeb, or you were like, wait.
Well, I can talk your ear off about it. I'm trying to get a show on WCC Plus about it, so you know how much time we have. But that'll be great. You guys should definitely pull up Sycamore Brewing, 7 o'clock tonight. It's going to be awesome. I've talked to Tom. Last time we did a podcast, you would not believe the crowds these guys get. It's almost like the team itself. It's crazy.
The ultimate recommendation, Bojangles.
Yeah. Okay.
So, have you been to Bojangles?
I maybe in my life, and I know it's chicken tenders, right?
It's more than that. Biscuits, chicken, gravy, fixins.
Yeah.
Is it better than what's Raising Cane's? Is that the territory we're in? Popeyes?
Yeah.
Two different things.
Two different.
I feel like
Raising Cane's is more like Zaxby's.
Correct.
And so this is more of a competitor to like Popeyes.
Okay.
So.
All right.
That's the
My in-laws say
And
Popeye
sweet
fried
tea.
chicken sandwich is the best fried chicken sandwich in the world.
Oh, you haven't had Bojangles.
Okay.
I'm just saying, don't do that yet. All right.
What time in the airport does it open? Because that might be a morning.
there's actually
early.
Sounds perfect for
There's
me.
actually one right around the corner.
Okay.
So there you go.
All right. Lunch and then breakfast.
I promise you, this segment is not sponsored by Bojangles. David Gass, thank you for your time, man.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for stopping by.